Welcome back, baseball fans. 1973-76 off-season look. And tonight we're going to be in the 1976 box for the first time. This is the rookie fourth year out. So 640 cards would be present. That's done by taking what Strat-O-Matic prints, which is less than that, and then adding in nameless cards of players who participated but didn't get a Strat-O-Matic card in that year. Including, guys like this who played in 76 but didn't play a lot, just to redistribute the talent over 32 teams, which includes our expansion teams, redraft just for an individual season, and then this becomes the talent pool for our four-year carryover league. And we're going to begin tonight with the first of four installments by looking at the American League East and the American League North. We're going to look at, of course, the four keepers, and we're going to look at the brand new rookie class, where most of these players will be taken from, we believe. Because the keeper class, you got to remember, these are guys who played in 1972. 4 years into the future, they might not be that good anymore, unless they're a younger player. So, and then again, you want to get the young stars into the league as soon as you can. I believe once we get to Detroit tonight, and 1976 in Detroit, something very special happens, and it's the year of the bird, and so we'll take a peek at that tonight. Something to look forward to a little bit later in this video. But let's begin with Baltimore. On a spreadsheet I have up, I know their keepers are going to be Mike Cuellar, Lee May, Eddie Williams, Eddie Watt, and Earl Williams. So by now, Mike Cuellar is getting up there. And he's got a 4.96 ERA. He's at the end of his rope here, so we're probably not going to take that card. Lee May in 1976 leads the American League in RBI. So it could very well be this card, though he may actually have a better one in 73. Nice to know. We have some options. Believe it or not, Earl Williams actually has a pretty darn good year of power here. Good average versus lefties. He's probably returned to Atlanta. No, the Expos. So he's long gone from Baltimore at this time, and he produces in another town. And Eddie Watt is long gone as well. So of this group of keepers, maybe Lee May gets picked up. So that means that they have to add two players from the rookie class or look for guys on the street. Baltimore, you think, would have a good rookie class. So they have Rick Dempsey. He's not quite ready, nor does he on the Orioles yet. I believe he's still a Yankee here. No, he is an Oriole in 76. You have Andres Mora, corner outfielder. Home runs, not much else. Steve Dunning, a relief starter. He's okay against righties, not particularly fantastic either. Actually, Dunning, I think, played in early 70s, then disappeared for a while. And here we have the change of the guard. We have Mike Flanagan's rookie card of 76. And you know what? That's a pretty good card. I don't think the one-loss record will be there, if I was guessing. Only 85 innings. 4.13 ERA. As a starter relief, you could start him out in the bullpen, where he gets lefties out. Dave Heverlo, I don't even think he was associated with Baltimore, got redrafted to them, was a Giant, pretty ordinary. And Tippy Martinez, also probably still in New York. I think what we did in the redraft is we used a nameless card of Ron Guidry, who only threw like 20 innings, sent him to New York, and then moved Tippy from, well, he's here as well in Baltimore in 76. I'm thinking of the trade between the Yankees and the Orioles that involved Kenny Holtzman and Rudy May. So, yeah, the change of the guard could be imminent in Baltimore with Flanagan and Tippy Martinez. And yet another lefty, Scott McGregor. They're all with Baltimore. They're all very young. Look at the innings pitched. Wow. And you know what? They didn't print a Ron Guidry card who had 20-some innings pitched. But this is very fortunate to get a pitcher with just 15 innings printed out and be left-handed and be reasonably good against lefties. So a huge break for Baltimore, having three left-handed. You're lucky if you get one left-handed option. You have 3 new left-handed options, all players who play a big role in the success in the late 70s, early 80s for Baltimore. So that's, yeah, the future is kind of now for the Orioles. Maybe that malaise from the early 70s to late 70s, that middle era, won't be so bad. Maybe they can catch Boston and New York in the middle 70s now. Speaking of that, here is Boston. Boston will be carrying on with Fisk, Griffin, Tiant, and Wise. Fisk has a couple years better than this one. He's just ordinary here in 76 with a 255 average. Doug Griffin's a 2 at second base, but the average is not there. Louis Tiant, starter 8. I predict his record won't be as good as 75, but the stats will be better. And they are. So, well, actually the one-loss record's good too. He's a 21-game winner here. I think he won 24 in 75, maybe. But I think this card is better than the 75 Tiant. So this is a player. This could be one of their options. And Rick Wise has a few cards in this era there. He's pretty flat. So any of the years are good for him. 3 days rest with a 3.54 ERA for Boston. I'm already predicting Jim Rice will come out of this group of 76 players. Let's just go through it anyway. Steve Dillard, a fine utility player. That's fine. That gets into a league as utility if they need it. Though it's one of the least valuable positions on your roster. You have a very young Butch Hobson at third base. Clubs homers versus lefties only. You already have Petrozelli hitting lefties primarily as well. Doug Howard, not much there. Tom McMillan doesn't offer a lot either. And here's Jim Rice. So if you want to do it now, pull the trigger. Last year you added Freddie Lynn. This year you could add Jim Rice. He'd actually been in Boston for a year or so. But here it's 282. It was 25 home runs. Might as well get him on the team now. You get him on the team now, you could say goodbye to Rick Miller, I'm predicting. Rick Kruger, a lefty, but not a very good one. Walks guys, gives up hits. You'd like the lefties to at least get your lefties out. He doesn't quite even do that, even though the area is just 406. Look at the innings, though. You'll see this a lot. A lot of times the guys have such low innings and the ERA is reasonable. Sometimes the card is not, because the walks will be up. In this case, 47 men on base in 31 innings. Dick Pohl is just kind of okay starter. That's that. Well, Jim Rice will be one of the players we believe they'll take. Louis Tiant could be another one. Plenty of time to decide that for the draft. Let's go to the Yankees. They should get some reinforcements now. It's 76. It's a World Series year. Changing of the guard. Mr. Steinbrenner's team has arrived. And your Yankees have Sparky Lyle, Bobby Mercer, Greg Nettles, and Claude Osteen. 76, Sparky Lyle. Is this that Cy Young year? 7-8, 2 1/4 ERA in 104 innings. All the Sparky Lyle cards from 73 to 76 will be pretty good. Good to know. They have flexibility. Bobby Mercer, his defense, he's now a 3 and he can't play center. Though this is a very nice card, he's got better ones since 73, I believe. Just a 259 average, and he's a giant. All right, here's the Nettles card that will probably be picked. Much like when you saw Lee May leading the league with RBIs in a not spectacular card, you've got Greg Nettles leading the American League in home runs. Hard to believe. 32 dingers will do it in 1976. Again, this year, not a particularly strong year for offense in 76. But there's your leading home run hitter. Most certainly this card will be picked up. Now the young guns for the Yankees. We have John Wockenfuss. Always had fun cards. As a catcher, utility guy, walks some power. Usually better against lefties and righties. He's not good here though. Dan Spillner, starter relief, not very effective. And that's it. Unfortunately for the Yankees, Willie Randolph got redrafted and taken out of their system by the Las Vegas expansion team. But they could call Las Vegas and offer him a trade and get Willie Randolph to come back to New York and start his career at second base. Next up, the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto is looking at Doyle Alexander, Tim Foley, Bert Hooton, Clyde Wright. Doyle Alexander, starter 7. On 3 days rest, 3.36 ERA, fine pitcher. That's good enough for Toronto, so that could get picked up. Tim Foley, he's got a nice batting average here. What is he hitting? 264, 36 doubles is nice. Is he a 2? He's a 2 at short. That's what you want. Be hit and runner. Power? Full time? That's a nice card. So, yeah, that'd be a fine. That's an everyday shortstop right there. Bert Hooton, this was a smart move. They got him out from the Cubs before he would go to the Dodgers. They intercepted that maneuver to the Dodgers, you see. He ends up here in Toronto. 3 days rest with a reasonable earned run average. Nothing spectacular, but, 3 1/4, so. Great options for a team that doesn't even exist yet. And frankly, if these guys were there in 77 when Toronto expanded, they would have done cartwheels. The fact that they already have this kind of talent on the roster already, the Toronto expansion has been accelerated by introducing them as an expansion team much earlier. Rookie class, Doug Ault, first baseman, plenty of power. Lefties better than righties. What, a 245 hitter? What do we got? Here is estimated batting. This is what they did. So, if you're wondering, why do you see a Toronto Blue Jay card in the 76 box when they don't start their season? Toronto, Strat-O-Matic made a bunch of players for the Blue Jays and just predicted what they might do. 240, and there you go. It's a projection, but not bad at all. And I'm kind of glad that they populated the box, to be quite honest. You have to remember, why did they do this? Is that Toronto would be in existence while these cards are being printed out and shipped to their fans. So you could play Strat-O-Matic with the Toronto Blue Jays in their inaugural season, which is pretty weird when you consider, the cards generally the following year. But that's pretty cool that they did that. Jose Baez, another one. This is a Seattle Mariner one, though. Bob Baylor, we know he was, I think, the Toronto's player. He was the best player on a bad Toronto team in 77. Dave Hilton, good batting average on the right side. He actually they have 74 stats for him, and they have Toronto's name on it. Pretty, they're experimenting here, and kind of cool how they mix things up a little bit. They stray a little bit away from the statistics and kind of make these projections. Here it actually is a Padre. John Scott, another Blue Jay with a projection. Here's an actual hitter. Jerry Turner was a Padre, I think. Yeah, he was a pinch hitter. Good one. Long group. If anything, they got options. They got choices to make, how to build this team. Ida Velez was a Yankee, was starred for Toronto. I think Ernie Witt was also a Yankee. No, he was a projection as well. Thought he started someplace else. They keep coming, folks. They're coming in droves. Jerry Garvin, another projection. Steve Hargan. He actually was a Ranger with a 3.63 ERA. This is like if you didn't have, and Tom Underwood was a Philly, and a good one. This is like if you didn't have you know, Doyle Alexander, Tim Foley, Bert Hooton already signed, and you were starting a team from scratch, you could start your team from scratch with these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have a dozen guys right there. That's what the carryover league carries over. So you just have to draft 8 more to join that. But the good news for Toronto is they actually have a lot more guys. They've been in our league the entire time. All right, we're going to take a pause, and then we'll get into the American League North. All right, we're going to begin with the Expos. J.L.U., John Boccabella, Mickey Scott, Tom Walker. Not a glowing list, and the only guy left is Mickey Scott. Well, this is what we find a lot and gets into our league. You throw left-handed, you're going to get looked at. You get lefties out and you throw left-handed, you probably get in the league. You get bombed by righties, we'll ignore that. We're just going to cover that up, forget that doesn't happen, and just concentrate over there and give him a possible ticket into the league. The good news is Mickey Scott's a little bit better in 75 than in 76, so they have options. That's it for the Expos. Let's look at their youngsters. They should have some youngsters, absolutely. Bob Jones, corner outfielder, has power, not much average. Very young Jose Morales, catcher first base, DH, utility. Yeah, that's a 300 hitter. They already have Gary Carter on contract, but you got a 316 guy here. Here is the changing of the guard. They have Bob Bailey presenting at third, but it's time for Larry Parrish to debut, possibly with this card. He's not quite ready, but you could get him into the league anyway. 232 in a full season. We got Bomba Rivera sighting here. Reasonable, yeah, he could be a reasonable platoon, possible everyday player. Not much defense. Power and some walks. 260, 276. Splits favor, oh yeah, the splits favor the good side. Yeah. We have Hector Torres, a nice utility infielder. Full-time power and threes everywhere. That'll get you into the league as a utility player. 222 hitter. What do you got? 195, even worse. Yeah, I guess there's no hits above 8, and I'll do it every time. Here's one of the stars of the Expos. Ellis Valentine. There's an everyday. Yeah, this should make it. He's the best card here. 279 hitter. He also, if you noticed, has the top hitting template, the 1-5-10 card, with a 279 average. That indicates the Expos did not hit very well in 76. Again, part of the general 76 card set. Folks, if you're deciding on finding a card set from the mid-late 70s, it's probably be one of near the bottom of the list, frankly. 76, it's the big red machine, kind of rolls everybody, including the Yankees in the World Series. It's the summer of the bird, Mark Fidrich. And other than that, it's a pretty dull box, to be quite honest with you. 77 is the box to get, if you can get that one. Vic Albury, a lefty who gets up a lot of extra base hits to lefties and walks guys and gives up doubles. You'd like to think you don't get this card in the league, but it might just get there. You look at these numbers and be happy that he's got a 360 ERA, and at least they're not home runs, right? Don Stanhouse. Starter relief, just a guy, we like to say. Walks guys, he always did. 377 ERA, 184 innings. Well, I will say you do have Larry Parrish and Ellis Valentine here just to get them on their team, even though they're going to get much better later in the decade. Next up, the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland wants to protect. Let's see here. Ramon Hernandez, Gaylord Perry, Fritz Peterson, Dick Tidrow. Some of those guys are going to get protected in an earlier year. Gaylord will be fine everywhere. Every card is going to be good, but he's going to be really good in 74, we believe. And he's He's okay here. He's fine here, but he's, you know, BPA, best player available, best card available. This isn't the best card available for Gaylord Perry. Fritz Peterson's getting long in tooth here. He's also just a starter 5, so he's better suited for the bullpen. He's not really getting the lefties out. Yeah, that's not very good, by the way. All right, so Dick Tidrow is transitioning from starter to relief. I believe he's a Yankee here, not an Indian, where he finds more success. He is a good Yankee. This would be a great player for the Cleveland to get into the league, keep him away from the Yankees. They would have been in the same division, of course. The good news for Cleveland and Detroit, they're in their own division with the Expos and Expansion Ohio players, which gives them a higher chance of success. The young Indians. Larvell Blanks, the middle infielder with some power. Nice against hey, it's a nice card. His defense was never really glamorous. Has power versus lefties, a triple in 7. Nice card. 277? 280. There you go. Nice card for Larvell Blanks. Bruce Bhakti, left fielder and first base. No power. That's a little disappointing. Draws a lot of walks. It's around 276 also, right? 258. 7's an out there and then the out there. That'll kill you. I hate cards like this when 7s are automatic outs, pretty much. Skip Jutsi. No, that's not going to work. Dwayne Kuiper. You got a 2 second baseman. Oh, you could even play him every day. Great bat handler, C-stealer, great base runner. Everyday player. 536 plate appearances, 263 average. Not a lot of extra base hits as expected. But you can make him an everyday player. He's fine over there against lefties. That's fine. I'm not overly concerned because of the defense. If he's a 3 or 4 second baseman, I might want a little bit more offense. But I love the defense. Speaking of that, this guy, Rick Manning. Hello, Rick. Everyday center fielder, full-time power. I didn't realize he was this good in this year. I think Manning's got a little bit of a regression. This might be a rookie card. I mean, he's kind of got a weird career of underperforming. Outstanding defense, great wheels, but the batting average and left-handed pitching usually bothered him. Not here, though. I got to get this Manning card in the league ASAP. This is going to be one of their 2 players, just so you can have it for 4 years. And then he'll regress after that. Tommy Smith, not much there. Gary Beer, starter 7. Fine, he's okay. 3.29 ERA, 41 innings. I mean, there's the starter set. I mean, starting right-handing pitching is the deepest pool of talent. So that's what he has to compete against. And then we have the Eckersley. Starter 6, lots of strikeouts. Really gets the righties out. What about in the bullpen? What if we start him as a reliever? Just knock the bats out of right-handers. And he's not that bad against lefties. I might not want to start him yet, but I'd start him in the bullpen. Look at that, almost 200 innings. So they actually, he was in the rotation. There's some really good options for Cleveland, who should really start to contend for the division title. Jim Kern, not one of his best years, but pretty darn good one. Again, look at the strikeouts. People forget how nasty this guy was in the late 70s. He had, I think it was 79 maybe. It's nasty here. It's a nasty dude. Cleveland's got a lot of talent here. There's a young Rick Waits. Okay, he's good at getting lefties out. Wow, this is fantastic news for Cleveland Indians. They're ready to get some guys here and compete for the division title. More reason where you probably want to go into the past for these players and get some of this youth in here. Let's go Rick Manning. Let's go Kuiper. All right, the Tigers. The old men of Detroit, they should be past their prime. They should have been past their prime, but Norm Cash, Al Kaline, Mickey Lolich, Mickey Stanley. Only a couple guys remain. One is Mickey Lolich. As a starter 6, still really good at getting lefties out, and that's not bad again. Yeah, that's a nice card for Lolich. Normally he goes 8 or 9 innings. Now he's just a starter 6. 193 innings, but okay, so he's not supposed to be the ace at his age, but he gives you a quality start. I mean, he's a quality pitcher here. Did it for the Mets. Got out of the Tiger Stadium, went into the National League. Didn't have to face a designated hitter. Got out of that small little ballpark in Detroit, and it's a nice card for Mickey Lolich. Mickey Stanley, fantastic defense, continues in the outfield. Hits lefties better than righties. Typical Mickey Stanley card from this era. 257. All right, so let's get to the Tiger rookies. They have Mendoza. Mendoza hits, if you're wondering, 185. Utility player. Decent defense everywhere. And as frankly, a 2 at short, I'll take that. All 2s at shortstop have an invitation to the league, regardless of hitting above or below the Mendoza line. Love 2 shortstops. And here he is, folks, the Bird. One of the 2 1976 cards the Tigers will have to take. They did not protect Joe Coleman, so they have a spot in the rotation for a right-handed starting pitcher. And here he is, the Bird. And statistically, he could pitch 250 innings with just 12 homers allowed, 2.34 ERA. You could slot him, well, you could slot him at the top if you wanted to, but you could slot him behind Lolich. They also have, I want to say, I can't remember who they have. Do they have Tom Timmerman? That's right, they don't have Joe Coleman. I don't know who their other starter is, but certainly you may as well make Fidrich the ace. Just go directly to this. I mean, how often does a rookie become the ace of the staff, right? Frankly, I think the worst game he pitched all year was the All-Star game. Otherwise, he was magnificent. Couldn't get 20 wins. All right. Ed Glenn, lefty reliever, just walks too many guys. Steve Grilly, he is okay, just a guy as a righties relievers go with a 4.64 ERA. That's probably not going to work. Yeah, it's going to be Fidrich and then a big drop off after that. Again, Lolich is always the fallback if you can't find anybody else, or Stanley. And lastly tonight, we'll go to the Ohio Player Expansion Team. And by the way, folks, they have the first overall pick in the draft. And I think we're going to find their player in this list. And it will be someone we've seen before in the spot of top pick in the draft. Gene Clines, Doc Ellis, Tom Hall, Rudy May. Gene Clines, decent batting average. Great base runner, used to be an ace stealer. His defense is improving in the outfield. Lots of singles. 278, 276. Yeah, that's all right, but, the extra base hits aren't there and the base stealing isn't what it once was. He's okay, but nothing spectacular. Doc Ellis, starter 8. Yankees, I believe, right? World Series team? Sure. Yeah, so Pittsburgh thought he was done. The Yankees said, come to New York. And he blossomed with the Yankees in the American League. Great card for Doc Ellis to continue his career. If I'm Ohio, I'm jumping on this one. It's one of my 2 players. Rudy May, starter 7. 3.72 ERA on 3 days rest. According to our projections, Rudy May is good in all the years except 73. So they have options there. But now let's take a look at the rookie class, and then I got to look at one more player after that. Rookie class, Mike Easler. If you follow our fall league, Mike Easler plays for the 1980-83 Ohio players. So this is sort of the time where he gets added to the roster, as he's not spectacular at all. But they know if they hold on to his card long enough, he'll have some big years with the Pirates. Pepe Frias, is this the 15 at-bat card? They make a card for Pepe Frias. He's got 15 at-bats. This is a utility player and can play the outfield. This is a nice utility player. When you can play all these spots, it really helps the team out. Remember, we have just 12 hitters on our teams, which means 6 guys have to play every day. And then the last 6 spots are 3 platoons, so you have a 3-man bench. So it's good to have a guy who can give you defensive reps in the infield and outfield. 248 hitter. Ron Jackson, corner outfield. Look, he can also play the outfield. Second and third. Eventually he's the first baseman. Doesn't even play it yet. Hits lefties better than righties, so he's got the power versus righties. Kind of neat card. Jerry Mumphrey, another player who is part of the future Ohio player team. A Cardinal, a Padre, a Yankee, an Astro. Guys who travel around like a Jerry Mumphrey would travel around, make good targets for expansion teams like the Ohio players. 258, ace dealer. Very young Mike Norris, another staple. The 1980 Mike Norris pitches for that Ohio players team. You're seeing this is kind of the birth of that 1980s Ohio players team right in this draft, potentially. It's kind of fun to have 2 leagues going 8 years apart as a predictor of future events. Well, we've looked at their keepers and we've looked at their rookies, but I got to show you the card that I think will be their first round pick. And that is the other option you have is to take a player you have on your roster and improve them. And the suggestion of player that you have that you want to improve comes down right here to Vida Blue. So we have a 75 card in the league right now. He got hit hard a year ago. His ERA was 4.85. Was 2-6. Really got knocked around. He had the 4.10, the number 4 ERA template. This is the best pitcher of 1976. With a 2.35 ERA, 298 innings, 9 homers allowed, 63 walks. You have to ignore the 1-loss record because these are not the Amazing A's anymore. They've started the fire sale. And this is this could be the second best Vida Blue card ever. He'll never do what he did in 71 ever again. Homer 1 fly ball. No homers there. No walks there. A walk there. This is an excellent card. So this gives the Ohio players the best chance, I think, of, competing at least and trying to get to 500. Step 1. Have Vida Blue go out as the ace and match up pretty much against every starter in the American League. I don't know if any pitcher in the American League will be better than this guy. I mean, Baltimore will have Jim Palmer, Tiant in Boston, Yankee, I can't think of anybody there. Nolan Ryan's not particularly fantastic either. Dennis Leonard in Kansas City, no thanks. White Sox, no. Wilbur Wood's not that good anymore. So, and Oakland's got Catfish Hunter. Vida Blue's going to be better than Catfish Hunter. I got to say it. So, they may have the very best pitcher in the American League, and they're the worst team in the American League. So, that could be the ticket for this team to get better. and get to 500 after 2 dismal seasons. All right, that's it tonight for the 1976 box introduction. We got a lot more cards to look at for the next 3 weeks as we get through the final box of talent for our draft, the 73-76 draft, which happens in March. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.